know I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. I'm crazy.
STEPMOMS. This is Naja Hall, step family coach and your fellow step sister. Now, I know we're not actually step sisters. I mean, that'd be kind of weird. But we're stepmothers and we're sister friends. So y'all are my step sisters. So today I want to talk about, or I want to look more into the topic of, had you known then what you know now, would you still have said yes? Would you have moved forward with your relationship, engagement, or marriage to this man with children? And interestingly enough, today I posted it on the VIP Stepmom Instagram page, and there were some very honest answers. And it really sucks, you all, because most of the women say hell no. They say no. I absolutely would not have stayed. I would not have endured the crap that I endured. And so I want to kind of go over some of the responses. A few, I'm not going to call the ladies' names, even though Instagram is a public space. One lady says, nope, I would have ran. And somebody else says, nope. Another lady said, I wouldn't have moved in so quickly without some better boundaries in place. Would I ever do it again should he and I not work out? Hell no. Somebody said we got another hell no. Someone else says, no, I love the kids, but the headaches that accompany dealing with the ex-spouse is a deal breaker for me. So this leads me to one of the points that I want to make. Now, if we are allowing ourselves to be full of anxiety, depression, conflict because of a person that is not in our household, are we really doing our marriage a service? Are we being the proper type of spouse? Because we are allowing someone else to impede in our mental, emotional, and physical territory. And you're probably like, Naja, what do you mean allowing? I mean, I can't stop a high conflict mother from calling. I can't stop my stepkids from disrespecting me. No, you can't stop any of those people from making those actions. But what you can do is set boundaries in place so that you're not available to them. If a person is constantly calling you or sending you berating text messages, who is the crazy one, you or her? She's never going to stop. This is who she is. This is who she's going to be. Why is she able to get to you via phone, though? Why is she not in file 13? That's what I like to call it, my trash pile. Why is she not in file 13? So her message can't even reach your signal, your cell phone tower signal. Same thing with emails. You can funnel an email from any high conflict person in your life to a certain folder, especially if you have Gmail like me, to a certain folder, and you can go and see it when you want to. Maybe when you're having a glass of wine or you and your man say, okay, let's see what Crazy's up to today. So I don't want you to ever feel like you are not in control. That's why I always say what you are allowing, because what you allow will continue. Now, if you have a spouse, if your husband, if your partner, your wife, husband, whomever's listening to this, if they are not able to set firm boundaries between you and the conflict, the drama that they brought into your life, because y'all all know that when our man starts experiencing drama, we feel really helpless, we feel out of control, and it pisses us off, and it kind of makes us look at him crazy. You're kind of like, wow, I wouldn't be dealing with this if it weren't for you. I'll talk about that in a second, though. So a lot of the conflict and the struggles that I see that stepmothers have is because your man is just not able to put that divide between you and his children's mother or his children, especially if these people do not like you, care for you, respect you, or they just not giving you a chance. So your husband, and there's a certain je ne sais quoi, there's a certain delicacy that comes along with a man being able to allow you the peace of mind and flexibility to just be. Without all the drama, without all the crap, without all the argument, there's a certain je ne sais quoi. As a matter of fact, if you are a VIP Stepmom member, if you've already signed up for the membership, there is a video session that I did. There's this guy named Brandon that DM'd me, and he was like, Naja, me and my girlfriend, me and my fiance, watch every video you do. We follow you. We listen. We love your podcast. We've gained so much insight. This man reached out to me and wrote me a really long email, which I shared in VIP Stepmom. And it touched my heart so much because he was genuinely concerned. He's like, how do I make my girlfriend, I don't remember if they're engaged or not. How do I make her feel better? I feel so helpless. I can't. She's so angry. She feels impeded upon. She feels she gets disrespected by my ex, and it's causing problems in our relationship. Can you teach me what to do to help her? So y'all know what I did, because this was a man that reached out to me. That girl is a lucky woman because he came to somebody for help. Y'all know that most men don't do that. But I said, you know what? Let's do this. Instead of me typing out a response, I want you to set up a video meeting with me. I'm going to use this video in VIP Stepmom, but you don't have to pay for the session. So he and I did an entire, I think it was like 45 minutes. We did an entire talk. But on top of that, I invited my husband in there because my husband is so good. He handled this thing like a champ. He had never been through a divorce before. He'd never dealt with any of this stuff before. But when I tell you, now he did drop the ball in the beginning. Oh, honey, I'm going to tell y'all about that one day. But he quickly separated the line from his former household into his new household with me. He demanded and commanded respect from everyone. And that's the type of fella he was. When he would maybe get an angry phone call or visceral, or it would be directed at me, or I would get a phone call, he's like, Naja, I'll handle it. He never walked around looking stressed out and disheveled. And I know my man was. I know he was heartbroken in the inside, because there were times that the conflict was so bad that, the first thing that happens when you go through conflict is you can't talk to the kids, right? So there were times when it was so bad that he would be cut off from his children. And yes, it would have been easy for him to relent to demands. It would have been easiest, sure. But what would that have done to his new life? Because he wasn't a husband anymore. He wasn't even my husband at that time. He wasn't her husband. He was not in a relationship. He was not in a marriage at that point. He was learning to be an ex-husband. But guess what? He was, is, and will always be a father. He was a father. Oh my God, that siren is so loud. I don't know if you guys hear that. He was a father. And so he was really good. And you guys will see me bring in Tony a lot. So I had Tony to come in to help me to talk to Brandon and just tell some of the things that he did, some of his own best practices, because now that I'm a professional and they call me an expert, I guess, now that I'm a niche leader in this field, the one thing I can say is a lot of the stuff that my husband did was right. And so that's what makes him one of the best choices. That's what makes this marriage easier for me, because of the way my man handles it. So the first thing I would say, all these women saying, oh my God, no. I'm scrolling the Instagram post right now. I don't necessarily think it's because of the high conflict mother or the bad relationship with the stepchildren. I really think it's because of how your man handles it. So if you do have a VIP Stepmom membership, the video is already posted. Please go and look at that. Please go and look at it and watch it with your man too, because this is going to help. This is going to help. When a guy sees stuff like this, he sees it's two men in the video and it's me. And they're doing most of the talking. So y'all know, if a man sees these two fathers that are divorcees talking on how to be in best practices, and one is asking questions, then he's going to get some help. He's going to be influenced in a positive way. And I'm doing all this on VIP Stepmom. Y'all know, because the way that I can support stepmothers is to give you the tools so that your man can support you. I don't just want you to be okay. I want your whole family to be okay. And so I'm seeing all these women that said, oh, hell no, I'm not going to do it. Absolutely not. One lady said, nope, I wouldn't do it again because I overthink everything. And if I had have known what was to come, I would not have allowed myself to fall in love with my amazing husband. I would have missed out on him but being the type A overthinker that I am. I would not have allowed this friendship to go any further. I'm just keeping it real. Sometimes it's better that we don't know, because I love my best friend so much. Y'all, this pains me to read stuff like this, because this woman says amazing husband, best friend. And I know a lot of you all out there feel the same way about your husband. You are like, damn, this dude is amazing, but he is attached to some bullshit. You know what? So one thing I could say to you, when I first moved to New York, I was living in Harlem, and there's this old pimp that I became friends with. I had a pimp friend. Like, he had hoes and everything. I wasn't one of them, just to clear that. But this was like a real life pimp. But he was an older guy. Like I think he was like 70, so his hoes were like 50. This is such a weird thing, y'all know. Like my life has been so colorful. And he was sitting out on the stoop because he lived in my building, or I lived in the building that he was already in. And he kind of took me under his wing. He knew at the time I was pursuing acting and comedy, which y'all know, I mean, comedy is my first love anyway. I just been called in the stepmom gang. And so he was like, Naja, why the long face? I said, well, I got rejected from this acting gig that I really wanted today. And the director told me that I just wasn't good enough and I should consider getting a nose job and I should straighten my hair out and, I should learn to lose my southern twang. I was like, he ripped my ass apart and I just feel like garbage right now. And he was like, and I was like, but I found out something about this guy. I was like, I found out that the director also tried to have a career in front of the camera. He was not successful with that endeavor. So he moved to being behind the scenes. And by the way, y'all, this was for a free job that I found, a free acting gig that I saw on Craigslist. Okay. I'm talking about some little rinky-dink, probably student film or something. So this guy was in no position to have that much authority over my life and what I did. But at the time, I gave him a lot of power. And so I was telling the pimp that, my pimp friend that. He was like, Naja, let me tell you something. Don't you let no damn trick make you miss your blessing because they missed theirs. And I was like, oh, mind blown. I'm going to say it again. He said, don't you let a trick. And that's like pimp talk, by the way, y'all. I guess in this case, we would say, don't you let a woman allow you to miss your blessing because she missed hers. So when I was reading this post from this young lady saying my amazing husband and he's my best friend and I just would have never known. That's my advice to her and to you too, especially if this man shows you love. If the only thing that he has is a crazy baby mama, girlfriend, it ain't so bad for you. And I know it feels like hell right now, but what we got to do is we got to get in there and teach your man some tools so that he can protect you. He can build a wall between your marriage and the chaos, because there is a way that a man just should handle it. As a matter of fact, in the beginning, I wanted to know all the tea. I wanted to know everything that's going on, every phone call, every conversation. But that's too much for a new relationship. Because you got to think about it. When our men were, some of our men were in relationships with their children's mothers and some were not. But let's just say for the ones that were, they probably didn't have kids before that. And this woman had and some of us are kind of jealous of their first wives or their first children's mother because she got a chance to ruin him all her own. She didn't have a baby mama to deal with. She wasn't a stepmother. She just had a pure, clean plate. And of course, she and he dirtied that plate themselves. But I'm kind of envious of that. I'm like, damn, man. Just imagine if I'd met you first. And I know you guys have thought that too. But guess what? Our lives didn't pan out like that. I fell in love with my husband because I did see the type of father that he was. I did see the type of man that he was in times of conflict. It's so easy to fall in love when things are good. It's peaceful. Oh my God, everybody loves me. But honey, you survive some conflict with your man. You go to war together and you stand on the front lines with him. And yeah, you both are going to be a little bit scathed, but guess what? You heal. You got those battle wounds that you suffered and you endured together. And so if that's the case for you and your man, I want you to change your thinking right now, because this is the person that you're supposed to be with. Your wounds are not healing because you're not allowing the scab to form and for the wound to completely heal. You keep scratching the scab. And what I mean by that is these people are able to get to you. You do know everything that's going on in his co-parenting or his parenting situation. Stepmom, you ain't got no sort of legal right to your stepchildren. Point blank, period. I know some of you might love them very much, but you can't make decisions for them. You can't sign a piece of paper and get them into a certain college. Like, unless you've gone and had yourself assigned legal rights. Like, your position is a pretty thankless one. You're doing all the work, but you're not getting any of the credit. And so with that being said, I want you to be very careful about what you invest, because your stepchildren if they do have two loving parents, like, their mom might not like you. She might be a hellion to you, but if she truly is a good parent, meaning she's doing the basics, she's making sure they get to school every day. She's feeding them. She's not a negligent human being. In this day and age, I guess you could call that good parenting because the standards are so low for parenting, but that's a whole nother podcast. So they have two parents. That means you don't have to be involved in everything, baby girl. As a stepmom, you do get to step up sometimes. You can step back, but your ass can step out. And so when it gets too heavy for you, I want you to consider stepping out. I want you to step out and step away. And ask your man, when you do see that he's using you as a repository for his pain and anguish that a previous family is causing him, you say, honey, I cannot be of service to you here in this moment with this issue because it makes me feel helpless. And it makes me feel like I have no control. When I feel like I have a lack of control, that does create anxious feelings for me. Y'all know how many of my stepmom clients right now are on anti-anxiety medication just because of their situations? So I say, if you take yourself out of the chaos, I want y'all to stay in your marriage. But I want you to take yourself out of the chaos. If you take yourself out of the chaos, you stand a chance at actual wellness. Okay? You stand a chance at wellness. So I made another post today, and I was just talking about my reasons for deciding to stay. And in my vows, I made a commitment not only to my husband, but to his children, my stepkids, because in August 20th, 2016, that's the day that we became a blended family. Now, my stepchildren were not at our wedding. But what I did was I made sure that no other kids came to our wedding. I didn't want my stepkids to come across the photos of all my little cute nieces and nephews and all my friends' children having a ball on the dance floor. And then they would look at that and feel excluded. Yes, it stung. Yes, it hurt me. But I knew that things would change for the better. And I know that my stepkids are going to ultimately question why they weren't there. Or, even in their own minds, even if they don't say anything, they're going to question that. And so we are very prepared to answer them with respect to the progress that we've made. I've never pretended like our situation was easy, just like many of you. But these past few years have been such a learning experience. There's been so many tears and court dates and laughs and frustrations and actual moments of genuine love. But, without placing blame or trying to live in the past, I will say that all is forgiven because it's not too late to start blending your family. But I want you to be the change. Now, with that said, you can still be a blended family even if your stepchildren's mother does not acknowledge your existence. Because guess what, baby? You ain't going nowhere. You're here. You're a real thing. You're not a ghost. She knows. As a matter, her lack of acknowledgement for your existence shows how much she recognizes you. Can I get an amen, somebody? It shows how much she is affected by you and your presence and what you represent. Now, if you're in the place of, I don't recommend reaching out or trying to forge relationships with women when, she's shown you for the past 5 years that she's high conflict, or she's made death threats against you, or if you guys have had a physical fight. There are some instances where I would say, I just want you to strictly parallel and let your man do all of that stuff. Tell him you don't want to know anything. Just tell me when the kids are coming. I'm going to be good to them. And if we manage to fall in love with each other, then that's cool. But, I can't have that. So, but sometimes it's just a matter of acknowledging one another. Now, she has to be in a place of balance and has been able to find her own sense of happiness and purpose. And so do you, though. So do you, stepmom. In order to see this other woman from your man's past being well and being whole, and for you to be appreciative of that fact. Because, we all want our stepkids' moms to be well because their children are attached to them. And our husbands' hearts are attached to his children. So you see how bound we all are? Do you see? Like, we are all like this one mashup of emotions and feelings now, even though some of us might not even communicate. Our presence in one another's lives is so intertwined. Because if dad is going through a hard time, then the children are going to suffer. And then the woman, the mother suffers. So you see, it's like literally a cycle. And so if you want to try to be the change, then I would encourage that. But, you do that with caution. I want you to do that with caution. So those are, my quick thoughts on today. And if you knew then what you know now. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. If you are not yet a member of VIP Stepmom and you've not even had a taste of the VIP Stepmom experience, I encourage you to join. I do these types of podcasts all the time, or sometimes I'll just get on and talk. There is a schedule of events in VIP Stepmom. There's videos where I've interviewed tons of people going through situations exactly like yours. There's articles, there's an ebook. You have a 1 month membership with your membership runs every month, but each month you receive a copy of Stepmom magazine, which is probably one of the best journals I've ever read on the subject matter of stepmotherhood. Like, it's the most professional one. It's the only professional one, as a matter of fact. Not even close to these little blogs we be reading, y'all. It's just not. I'm not even going front like it is. I mean, and also you get my course, Girl Bye. She's not going anywhere, neither are you. Went Amazon's bestseller. Yes, Miss Naja. So there's so much that you get. We have live group coaching sessions. That means me and you are going to sit down on camera with some of our other stepsisters, and we're going to start to resolve some of this stuff. I'm doing everything that I wish I would have had when I started my journey 6, 7, 8 years ago. I wish. No, it wasn't 8 years ago, but sometimes my numbers get crazy. But everything that I would have needed to make me okay and realize what to expect, how great of a situation I had, and how much the BS does not matter. I'm pouring all of that in here. Each month we have tools that are specific to the stepmom struggle. There's also a discussion forum, and I'm in there every day, all day, looking for you guys' questions. Once a month, I go in and pick out the questions and I answer them. And so, I would encourage you to join the experience. And one of the most important reasons is the community is private. It's not attached anywhere to your social media. I did that to keep the damn booger wolves out and to protect you. Because I'll say this, I don't know if you guys saw the post, but I've been subpoenaed to court because I have this big old blended family Facebook group. I've been subpoenaed by something that you said on social media, and somebody was watching you and they want to know, do I have extra information? Or can I submit more pictures? Or can I submit records? Like, this stuff actually happens. And until it happens to you, you may not realize the severity of it. But people can be cost a lot of money, legal fees, access to their children, aside from the mental anguish, just because of this. So I decided to take this thing off of social media and just make it for us. You create a username, nobody knows who you are, but you still get to get help. So there's a lot of women that observe on my social media pages. Now this is a chance for you to jump in and interact and still protect yourself and still build sisterhood. Anyway, I will see you guys very, very soon. VIP Stepmoms, I thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you trusting me and supporting me in this venture. You all make my heart full. You make me realize that my suffering was not in vain. You make me feel purposed. And for that, I thank you. And I'll see you next time, stepsister.
I know I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. Naja Hall.